Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'll be brave, I'll say it. I'm genuinely excited for the Wicked movie. I understand people who are not. People who are put off by it being split in two parts. People who think that Ariana Grande as Galinda is strictly stunt casting. People who can't understand a showmance between the leading lady and the comic relief tenor. I get it. But I am cautiously really optimistic. John M. Chu is a great choice for a director. Cynthia Erivo is ridiculously talented and an even better choice for Elphaba. And while they could have made this movie at any point over the last 20 years, I'm glad that it's happening now with this creative team. I want it to be incredible. I want it to be up there with Chicago and Cabaret and West Side Story as great movie musicals. West Side Story is particularly impressive because they didn't cast anyone as Tony. Wicked deserves a great movie. It's Wicked. Like, what are we talking about? The Broadway show needs no introduction. It's fourth all-time in performances, third of shows currently running, and first of shows that didn't win the Tony for Best Musical or Revival. But if I had to choose between a single Tony Award and running for 2 decades plus, call me Forrest Gump on a goddamn treadmill. I'm booking it. Wicked is an institution on Broadway, and in all likelihood, it will be running into the 2030s, if not the 2040s. It's not like becoming a major motion picture is gonna hurt ticket sales. I genuinely think the reason Wicked doesn't have a pro shot is because it was produced by Universal Stage Productions, which is part of Universal Studios, the guys who make the Minions. Universal had at one point planned on developing the book into a feature film. They didn't then. Steven Schwartz learns about this book Wicked on an island vacation, kind of like how Lin-Manuel did with Hamilton. Maybe that's the reason I'm not a Tony winner. All my vacations are landlocked. So they let Steven do his thing. But because Universal was planning on making Wicked a movie, they must have figured, hey, if this thing does well, we could still make it a movie. We'll just do it off the musical. And that's what I don't know if you've seen the ads everywhere, but that's what they're doing. Universal made the right bet by producing Wicked, and they could have made a movie version of it at any point between October 2003 and now. And they've planned to do so. First it was 2012, then 2016, then 2019, and some of the casting and directorial choices that were floated around are capital S something. There's a world where the real Wicked movie is a Ryan Murphy production starring Rachel Berry, what's her name? Starring Lea Michele as Elphaba, and I don't know, Jane Lynch as Madame Morrible, Matthew Morrison as the Wizard. I am a sentimental man. Chris Colfer is Bowen Yang's character, and I'm certain that in that one, Galinda really does ask Elphaba if her pussy's green. But that's not the one we're getting. The one that we're getting feels like a faithful, thoughtful, fun movie, and I can't wait to see it. The biggest red flag for me is how big of a deal they're making over the singers singing live on set.
They are the best singers in the world, and so every scene they have been singing live.
We chose to sing live because it meant that we would be further connected to the words we were saying.
We both were like, well, of course we're singing live.
Which, yeah, I sure hope it does. This is a musical. What do you think the Broadway performers are doing 8 times a week? If I wanted a movie with a bunch of music videos in it, I'd rewatch Mean Girls. Like, I'm glad that they're singing on set. It feels like the right creative choice, but it also feels like an obvious one that they shouldn't be bragging about. A much less obvious creative choice that I know has people nervous is the fact that this is a secret 2-parter. This movie is only Act 1. It's a trick. It's a ruse. And I've decided I'm fine with it. In fact, I've decided that I'm glad that they're tricking people. It's reassuring that Universal trusts the creative team enough to let them make 2 musicals right off the bat. But also, it's Wicked. It doesn't take a whole lot to trust that Wicked will make money. Part 2 is scheduled for the same time next year, and that feels much more real than the March 2024 release date Sony initially gave Across the Spider-Verse. They shot parts 1 and 2 together. The additional songs have already been written and recorded. I believe in their ability to meet a deadline. They probably did this solely because it means they don't have to put a scene after Defying Gravity. Unless you want to put a for real intermission in this movie, what are you supposed to do after other than cut to black and roll credits? Maybe this is a hot take. I'm not convinced that's the version of the riff they're using in the movie. Why show off your money shot in the trailer? I know that's what trailers do now. They tell you every little thing that's going to happen in the movie, and the trailers to Wicked are no exception. You watch one of them and you're like, oh yeah, that's Act 1 of Wicked. This really is going to be a two-parter. I believe John M. Chu wants something to surprise the audience with, and until I can hear the movie cast album, I think this is bait to get people talking about the movie, because this riff is not literally identical to the original. Whether that's in the movie or not, I am praying for the day we get to hear all of the alternate takes of just this riff.
Welcome to the river!
Splitting it in two does mean that part 2 has way fewer of the popular songs than part 1 does. That includes Popular itself, but The Wizard and I, Dancing Through Life, What Is This Feeling, and Defying Gravity are all in Act 1. And as excited as America is to hear Jeff Goldblum sing Wonderful, throwing Act 2 some new songs does mean they've got a chance that one of them becomes a hit. No Good Deed and For Good are both great, and for very different reasons. But that is 2 songs over what will probably be a 2.5-hour movie. They can write those new songs with Ariana and Cynthia in mind, and hopefully they don't feel like a 2 decades late addition, but like a natural extension of the story. I think maybe the biggest impact of this movie being delayed so many times is Elphaba is not being played by a white person. To have a lead character in a musical who is ostracized specifically because of the color of her skin, and to have her be played more often than not by a white person feels like a joke out of 30 Rock or Atlanta, and not a true fact about the second most profitable musical of all time. I understand it was a different time. In 2003, people didn't know that racism was real. But I know if they asked her to play Elphaba, Lea Michele would have said yes as soon as someone else read her the offer. As for Galinda, when Ariana Grande was cast, Taylor Louderman, who was also up for the part, posted the Deadline article on her story and said, why did I even audition or think I had a chance? This business, you can't care too much about any role you're auditioning for, or you could get hurt and won't come back, but you have to care enough to give it your all. Which is maybe a little much, but I get it. Amanda Seyfried has also talked about the audition process and said, I have dreams that I'm still auditioning for Wicked. Did all of the Galindas just put so much pressure on this, or did they do something to these people? If it wasn't during the pandemic, it sounds like they all would have been trauma bonded, which makes it sound like every high school theater audition process. Dove Cameron and Renee Rapp auditioned for the role, and I'm sure many former Broadway Galindas did too. Ariana Grande was ultimately cast, and because it's her, people have thoughts. The main question that Taylor Louderman alluded to is, did they cast Ariana because she's the best, or because she's a mega pop star who will put butts in seats? All of those other actresses are great and talented. I'm sure some of them didn't get the part just because they don't look like they would have gone to college at the same time as Cynthia Erivo, unless this is the Community movie, but it's not. It's Wicked. I don't think it's controversial to say that none of them are at the same level of fame as Ariana Grande. That's just the way that it is. And Ariana herself has specifically addressed this question.
Going off of side to side, I probably would have said the same thing. I probably would have said, why the fuck? Kill me. I've waited 20 years for this. Kill me. I've waited. Yeah, like I would have said that as a fan from the outside, knowing of only 7 rings, probably I'd say, well, that's bullshit.
Not to be that guy, but I think it's a little bit of both. And I think it's a little column A, little column B. 2 become 1.
It's both.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, the outside is Ariana Grande's pop stardom, and the inside is her abilities as an actress. I think it's both. All of the early reviews that I've seen have been very complimentary of Ariana's performance specifically, which is great. I'm glad John M. Chu went with the person he thought was best and would bring the most to his project, and he seems to be getting that. And to get all that and also have that person be a multi-platinum recording artist is a nice little bonus. I think the biggest argument against it being stunt casting is the thing I've been saying all video. It's Wicked. The fan base is built in. Whenever my mom sees that Wicked is touring, she says, well, there will always be 10-year-olds And that's so true. People have been clamoring for this for years. Some of the people who saw it when they were 10 are in their 30s now. And they have disposable income. And they can stay up as late as they want and watch Wicked all night. They could have cast a stapler and a vacuum cleaner. And people would go see this movie multiple times. I think the stapler would be Elphaba. She's practical. She can hurt you, but is it really her fault? And Galinda would be the vacuum cleaner because she's louder and more of a flirt. But you don't want me to talk about Ariana just because she was cast in this movie. Easily the biggest scandal of Wicked is the affair between Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater, also known as SpongeBob, also known as really? Him? Quick timeline. Wicked started filming on December 7th, 2022, and filming took place until the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike. One of the few things that gave me hope that year. They had to start production on July 13th, 2023, shout out to the union, and would not resume filming until January 24th, 2024. Also in July of 2023, Ariana Grande and her now ex-husband officially got divorced. The two of them separated in February. Divorces don't happen in a day. On July 26, 2023, Ethan Slater filed for divorce from his wife, and shortly after, him and Ariana started dating. This is when people, including Lily J, Ethan Slater's ex-wife, started calling Ariana not a girl's girl. And while it's possible that neither of them cheated on their spouses, the timeline does not give them a lot of wiggle room. Ariana and Ethan have been pretty low-key since they started dating, which makes sense. But there's only so much you can do when you're a multi-platinum recording artist, Ariana Grande. I think this serves as further proof that being in a musical with people does incredibly fucked up things to your brain chemistry. Why is it impossible to do a musical where no one in the cast starts a messy relationship? Even if it's not a romantic one, the platonic friendships you form will have you crying because you hated each other and then crying because it's over. Or the other way, where you're crying because you love each other so much and then it's over and you're like, wow, I didn't like any of those people at all. What is it about reaching emotional peaks through song that causes people to do the most ridiculous things you've ever seen? Is it just because most people do musicals in high school and this causes people to revert back to that state? The other thing is the articles about their relationship are fucking ridiculous. Inside Wicked co-stars Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater's magical romance. Tough to think of any relationship that starts from two divorces as magical. Unlimited. Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater's future is unlimited. In honor of their new movie Wicked, look back at how their relationship began. And the number of Wicked lyrics they use in this is truly unforgivable. One short day, not in the Emerald City, but on a Zoom call. It appears that nobody in all the internet, no rumor that there is or was, is ever gonna bring her down. It's safe to say that, despite the challenges they faced, they've left a handprint on each other's hearts. And if you feel like you've been changed for good by Ethan and Ariana's romance, keep reading to learn more about their relationship. If it took Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater dating to change your perception of romance to a positive one, I feel like we exist in different realities. Touching grass isn't enough. I'm gonna need you to interact with 3 human beings. Every time they released a new poster for the movie, I would scroll down to the comments and see people asking, why haven't they remade the iconic Broadway poster? Like, dating back to March, people would be asking where it was. And I want to sit those people down and say, you would have failed the marshmallow experiment. When the movie you're making already has an iconic character or moment, or better yet, an iconic piece of marketing, you're gonna use that at some point. Probably really close to the release date because you know it'll get people talking. If anything, I'm a little shocked they didn't wait until November to release this poster. It was always going to have the biggest impact. And it wasn't even the last one. Truly, once this poster exists, what is the point of releasing new ones where Ariana's eyelashes have been photoshopped to hell and back? But they did remake it. They were always going to remake it. And because it was not a one-to-one recreation of the Broadway poster, people were upset. Do I think the movie poster is a little worse than the Broadway poster? Yeah, I do. But the Broadway poster works so well because it uses like 5 colors and is so flat. You're not going to get that when you're taking pictures of real 3-dimensional human beings. The fan edit of the poster looks more like the playbill, but it's still not as stylized because it's a picture of people, not an illustration. Cynthia Erivo even saw the fan-made poster and did not like it, not one bit. This is the wildest, most offensive thing I have seen. Equal to that awful AI of us fighting, equal to the people posing the question, is your pussy green? None of this is funny, none of it is cute, it degrades me, it degrades us. The original poster is an illustration. I am a real human being who chose to look right down the barrel of the camera to you, the viewer, because without words, we communicate with our eyes. Our poster is an homage, not an imitation. To edit my face and hide my eyes is to erase me, and that is just deeply hurtful. The AI thing she's referring to is terrible, partially because of all the regular reasons. Generative AI is terrible. It looks bad. It's so energy intensive. The environmental impact of using AI is fucking ridiculous, and it adds nothing. If you want to see Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba and Ariana Grande as Galinda fight, there's actually a movie coming out soon where they're going to do that very thing. And the is your pussy green thing is a long-running joke in the Wicked community, but it's different when it's a largely faceless Galinda asking a largely faceless Elphaba versus when it's Ariana Grande asking Cynthia Erivo. And since posting that on her story, Cynthia has reflected on it, saying, I probably should have called my friends, but it's fine. So with those two things, I'm sure that this covering her eyes so she couldn't stare down the camera at you, the viewer, was just the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm lucky enough to live in New York City, which means I'll get to see the movie on Wednesday the 20th, a whole 2 days before it's released. But I'm not as lucky as the Kardashians, who got their own special preview of the movie with Ariana and Cynthia to boot. Apparently this was to promote the Wicked Skims collab. How are you gonna go dancing through life without shapewear? And it's nice to see that the reaction was entirely frustration. Rich people getting special treatment sucks. They're already rich. Why do they need the special stuff too? This movie already has so much promo. I can't walk around or scroll on Twitter without seeing at least one ad for the movie. And who does this move? What person is like, I'm not gonna see Wicked unless the Kardashians get to see it in October? Then I might go. You know, I wasn't gonna go see it, but now that I know my favorite side character from He's All That has seen it, I'm in. There's so much advertising for Wicked. At what point does it hit diminishing returns? I'm sure that there are people who would have seen the movie but have been bombarded with ads and are like, I don't even care anymore. And I think in spite of all that, this movie is going to join Inside Out 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine as the only movies to make $1 billion this year. Obviously, Universal wants that, and that's why they're advertising the movie so much, and other companies believe that. And that's why there is so much licensed Wicked merch. The official Wicked Mattel dolls have a link to wicked.com on them, which I will not show you because that is a porn site. I just feel like if the Broadway show doesn't have wicked.com as their URL, how the fuck would the movie get it? The actual website is wickedmovie.com, and if you go there, before you can scroll to see the trailers, you can see a list of all of their corporate sponsors. Having sponsors on a movie like this is kind of fun, because I get what they're going to sell. Like Betty Crocker, they're going to sell cupcakes that are pink and green. Bloomingdale's, they're going to sell clothes that are pink and green. And then you get to Lexus, and it's like, are they going to sell a car that's pink and green? It's not like they're going to do product placement, right? They're not going to throw a Lexus in the middle of Oz, right? Please? What happens when I click on Lexus? It just takes us to lexus.com. Oh, maybe lexus.com/wicked? No, okay. There's nothing there. If you're not going to have Wicked products, don't be one of Wicked's partners. Samsung. Music Frame Wicked Edition comes with a special Wicked bezel and 3 Wicked photo cards. Play music from your mobile device wirelessly. For $450? It's a speaker. Maybe that's why they were advertising with the Kardashians. This movie's just for rich people. Starbucks, who I refuse to shop at until they give my brother a union contract. Another sad thing about the Starbucks Wicked collab is it means there's not going to be a Dunkin' Donuts Wicked collab, and I feel like a bunch of people from Boston saying Wicked all the time makes sense. The one I find most interesting is this Hilton one, because Hilton is a hotel. You and I know this. So they have a limited edition Wicked hotel room. Stay like Wicked experience. Huh? Oh, Stay Like Wicked experience. Got it. This holiday season, transport yourself to the enchanting land of Oz with our exclusive Stay Like Wicked experience at the New York Hilton Midtown. In celebration of the upcoming movie Wicked, only in theaters, and crafted to bring its magic to life, the suite seamlessly blends spellbinding decor with signature Hilton hospitality. Indulge in a wickedly decadent treat, Adele Dazeem. I do live in New York. I can go to Midtown. However, the only stay you can book in December is from the 24th through the 26th, which means I would be there on Christmas, and it's $2,100 per night. I don't know if they're planning on keeping this around for Wicked 2, but that is the only day that's available. And I will not be spending my Christmas Eve in Midtown Manhattan.
Thank you for calling the New York Hilton Midtown. If you would like to make a sleeping room reservation, please press 1.
Good morning, hotel operator. Good afternoon, hotel operator. Speaking, how may I assist you?
Hi, I'm calling about the Wicked experience. I was wondering how long that would be running.
That is, I don't know. Everything is just online. We were informed that you have to go online.
Gotcha. I will check out the website. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
They hung up so fast. Maybe not the best sign that the hotel staff knows nothing about it, but if they do the Wicked experience for 2025's Wicked Part 2, Folly Ado, please can I go? Please, I'd love to visit. I'm low. You don't even have to fly me out. I will record everything. I'll post about it on TikTok for all the TikTokers. Even beyond this list of partners, there is so much Wicked merch. Crocs is doing a Wicked collab, and the shoes look ridiculous. A men's size 10 Wicked Glinda Siren clog. God, that is chunky. The only issue I see with these is there's no sport mode available. I'm not paying $100 for no sport mode. Thank God it holds 26 gibbets, including Moodang's Snot Bubble. Is Moodang still relevant? I don't think so. Then there's the Alphaba one, a much more classic croc. Bombas is doing a Wicked collab, and it is truly just pink and green socks. Some of them aren't pink or green. This one on the end. What about that is Wicked? Where did they get off? Defy Gravity. That's Wicked. I know that one. What part of Wicked is this? Is that the bubble? Of course, there's a Stanley Cup collab, and they really messed up on this one. I've never seen the Alphaba one in stock, and I understand why. The people who are obsessed with Stanley Cups are also probably obsessed with Wicked. This one makes a lot of sense. The Alphaba one is green, black, and gold. It looks nice. It's got the flying monkey on it. Great. The Glinda one is a pink Stanley Cup with like a couple of butterflies on it. It's been a minute since I've actually seen Wicked. Are butterflies like a part of the show? But I feel like the bigger issue is most people who collect Stanley Cups already own a pink one. This is not breaking a lot of new ground for them and is pretty easily skippable as a collector's item. Defy Gravity with our new Wicked collection coming soon. Build-A-Bear. It's the middle of November. You got what are we doing? What are we waiting for? The movie comes out in like a week. I also feel like they fucked up by giving them two different eyes. Either you gotta give them both little marble eyes or both printed out eyes. The outfits are cute. I'll give them that. This one's for all the Shane Dawson fans in my audience. I hope there are none of you. You can get the Patrick Star X Wicked off the handle complexion blush. Blush. It's a brush, is it not? Yeah, it's a brush. And I don't know a lot about makeup, but I feel like one brush should not cost $34. Maybe that's why they were advertising with the Kardashians. This movie's just for rich people. With the Wicked Legos, my only complaint is they're not the normal minifigures. I wish that Glinda could be the sixth member of my Sinister Six, but looks like that's not gonna happen. And despite all of that, I'm still excited for the movie. It's Wicked. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, and you wouldn't mind leaving a like or subscribing, I would really appreciate that. I think if the marketing team was fun, they would try to get Ben Platt to post on his Instagram story, "Hello, I'm Ben Platt, and my dad is Mark Platt, the producer of Wicked," but I don't think that's gonna happen. In working on this video, most of the criticism I've seen of Ariana Grande as Glinda has to do with who Ariana is as a person and not how people think she will do in the role, which makes me excited that people are saying she's really good, because then it's like, all right, you really have nothing to stand on. I will surely post about this on Letterboxd, and I will probably see this twice in the theater. Again, thank you so much for watching this very long video. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye! I'm interested in the Wicked promotional suite, please. Oh, didn't type it. I'm interested in the Wicked promotional suite, please. I'm not sure I understand. Try rewording your question. How long will the Wicked collaboration be available? I only care about the Wicked hotel room. If I cannot get a night of beauty sleep as though I am visiting Oz, I will not be visiting Midtown Manhattan. I'm not sure I understand. You are not a very helpful virtual assistant. I'm not sure I understand. I'm not sure you do either.